So we have seen quite a number of 16-inch laptops as well as Vivobooks from ASUS this year. But for under 3,000 ringgit, this one could be the best Vivobook yet. This is the Vivobook 16X without the OLED because it doesn't have an OLED display, but don't be let down by that because it is a really affordable 16-inch laptop that performs really well, and there's actually some surprising features that ASUS has added onto a Vivobook. And here's my thoughts after using for 2 weeks. Compared to other budget 16-inch laptops that I have come across this year, the Vivobook 16X is not the most attractive looking 16-inch laptop. Now, this is not made out of any aluminum material, but it's made out of entirely plastic. So you get this silent blue color scheme that has been quite a default color for the Vivobooks this year. But then, it is still a pretty nice laptop to transport around. It's not exactly the heaviest that I have experienced, and it's actually quite compact because it is actually a 15-inch form factor. Now, opening the display hinges requires 2 hands because this is not a one-handed display, but thankfully you do get the benefit of laying the display down to a 180-degree flat angle like this, just in case if you want to do some collaboration with your co-workers, or if you want to use the laptop while standing, which is a really good thing right here. Now, let's talk about the working area here, which is one thing that I have always been very impressed with Vivobooks. I'm really glad that ASUS has included a really nice keyboard with good key travel and good tactile. It is a full-size keyboard, by the way, so for productivity users, you will be happy that there's a numpad right here if you need to do a lot of Excel spreadsheets. The trackpad is really big as well, and it's kind of like aligned at the center. It's not exactly at the center, but right near to the center here, and it has a fingerprint sensor, and this trackpad actually tracks really well. In terms of the laptop's I/Os, this is where ASUS has surprised me. Now, I've always complained about Vivobooks not having enough USB 3 ports, and this time on the Vivobook 16X, you do get 2 USB 3.2 Gen 1 ports that works at 5 gigabit per second speeds on the right, as well as a USB-C 3.2 Gen 1 port. Now, unfortunately, the USB-C port right here still doesn't support display output, neither does it support USB PD charging. That is a little disappointing, but considering this is a budget laptop, I wouldn't complain at all. Now, you do get an HDMI port at full size, but it still works at HDMI 1.4 instead of 2.0, but that is fine for most productivity users as well. And on the left side, you get another USB port, but it is a USB 2.0 port. It is still good enough if you want to plug in, let's say, a wireless mouse dongle or connect to a printer. So yep, that is one thing that ASUS has really improved on the Vivobook 16X. So despite not having an OLED panel, this is still a very serviceable display when it comes to office environments. It gets bright enough up to about 300 nits, which is actually really good. And you get a 16:10 aspect ratio, which means you get some extra vertical space when it comes to viewing emails, web pages, and documents. And I think that is actually a great thing for a productivity machine. You do get a 720p HD webcam on top. There's no Windows Hello login through the camera, which is unfortunate. But the webcam, I would have to say, it's not the best, but it's kind of serviceable for video calls, and you do get the benefit of a physical privacy shutter right here. Now, many budget 16-inch laptops that I have come across are usually powered by an Intel Core i5-1235U processor, which unfortunately isn't the most power-efficient chip from Intel. I've tested a couple of them, and they usually last about 3 to 4 hours of battery life, and it's downright bad. Which is why I'm so happy that ASUS has decided to stick back to an old AMD Ryzen 5 5600H processor on the Vivobook 16X. Now, we all know how efficient AMD's chips are, especially its H-series processors back then, so I'm really glad that they have fitted this chip. And being an H chip, you definitely get some extra power over the U-series processors, which is actually a good thing if you decide to do something heavy right here. So this machine is also fitted with 8 gigs of RAM. You can further expand that up to 32 gigs if you want to, and it also has 512 gigabytes of PCIe storage, so you can actually change that or upgrade if you want to. This laptop is totally serviceable, which is a really big selling point as compared to many other budget 16-inch laptops in the market. So having used the Vivobook 16X as my daily driver for the past 2 weeks, it has been a very pleasant experience. Now, like I mentioned, the keyboard and trackpad works really well, but what I'm most impressed with this machine is the performance and power efficiency. The Ryzen 5 5600H chip is really powerful when it comes to productivity stuff, and I really didn't notice any moment of lags or slowdowns when it is running on battery. It also remains very cool as well. The cooling fans rarely kicked in even when I'm doing really heavy stuff on it on battery, and its battery life is just so good. I managed to record up to 6.5 hours, which is probably the best battery life that I've ever experienced on a budget 16-inch laptop. So if you're someone that really cares about power efficiency and a balance of power, this is the laptop that you should probably look up. But yep, it doesn't have USB PD charging, so that's definitely a bummer right there. So make sure you keep the charger with you all the time if you're really like going out for long hours and you need somewhere to charge the laptop halfway. For what you're getting on the ASUS Vivobook 16X, I have to say that this is a very impressive budget 16-inch laptop. It retails for just 2,999 ringgit, which, like I just mentioned, it retails just well below 3,000 ringgit. And it is a recommended purchase from me if you're looking for a great 16-inch laptop that doesn't break the bank. Alright, so that's all for my review on the ASUS Vivobook 16X. Let me know what are your thoughts in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe to our channel for more videos coming right up, and I look forward to see you in the next one.